Blarkats Vanilla Gaming. Gut. Das ist die Kirche. Okay. Was machst denn du da?
Forgive my interruption.
Do not apologize, my son. Father Tobias Whitaker is always happy to teach mortals about the incoming Armageddon.
I am Dr. Jonathan Reed, and I just have a few questions.
A scientist? You are much more lost than I thought, my son.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
I don't like the liberal ideas of nurses, but I especially abhor that Nurse Crane you mentioned.
Oi, warum denn? Hast du was dagegen, wenn sie Leute hilft?
Why do you hate Nurse Crane more than other nurses?
Before coming to London, she was a member of the communist resistance in her country. That's what happens when you let a woman get involved in politics.
Okay.
So you're not exactly a fan of Florence Nightingale's work. But nurses are essential for modern healthcare.
Nuns should be the only women allowed to take care of male patients. It's obvious only they have the necessary moral fiber.
Du bist ja ein witziger Kauz.
Have you any friends? Any family left in these terrible times?
No. But I have a disciple I see as my son. He is so devoted. I sent him to preach the good word in the heart of this corrupted city.
Where did you send him?
I sent Samuel to the Stonebridge Cemetery, where the pestilence and evil grows night after night.
Okay, ob der dann noch lebt?
You sent him on some preaching crusade during the epidemic.
As a true believer, Samuel will fear no evil while he walks through the valley of the shadow of death.
Ich beschwöre.
I have heard enough for tonight. Goodbye.
Was ist dieser Journalist?
Excuse me, sir. Are you familiar with this part of town? Name's Clayton Darby, reporter.
Sorry,
That is,
I'm new to Whitechapel. But perhaps you could help me since you're a journalist. My name is Jonathan Reed.
Dr. Reed, the famous surgeon. I'll gladly help if I'm able, sir.
Fangen wir gleich mal direkt an.
I heard you're investigating an underground medical dispensary in Whitechapel. What do you know about it?
Not much, I'm afraid. They are wary of strangers, and I'm not really an acquaintance of theirs. Why do you care?
Ja, ich bin Arzt.
I'm a doctor, Mr. Darby. I care about everything involving public health and this epidemic.
Are you sure you're not just concerned about the repercussions that a scandal involving a certain Nurse Crane from the Pembroke Hospital would bring?
Without a doubt, you are a damn fine journalist, Mr. Darby. What do you know of her accomplice, a man named Darius?
I don't know much about the man. He's very cautious. Never goes out. Doesn't seem to have any friends or family.
He never goes out.
No. A few days ago, he unexpectedly did. I followed him, but it was just a ruse to keep me away from his house.
Really? How do you know?
He went to the nearest mailbox, but just before posting his letter, he ripped it up and threw it away.
Okay.
He has no relatives at all?
No. Except for that strange man, a poet named Richard Nithercott, who sometimes comes by. Darius would never let him in.
Where can I find this Mr. Nithercott?
He spends most of his time lurking around Whitechapel, talking to himself or declaring verses. These days, you can usually find him behind the church.
Gut, dass wir eh schon an der Kirche sind.
Why are the newspapers keeping silent about the Spanish influenza? It's as though none of you care.
There's a war going on. People shouldn't be demoralized by news of deadly diseases.
I served in France. Our top priority must be to put an end to this butchery. This war must stop now.
Sir, streets are a battlefield too. An invisible and untold war is going on, and it must be stopped.
Have you any idea of the danger you face in these streets at night?
I've had to run and hide more than once from frenzied mobs incensed by the fever. Do you think the flu is really responsible for this, Doctor?
Nö.
That science is unable to explain the facts doesn't mean there is no rational explanation.
I confess, I share your point of view, Doctor.
What is a journalist doing in this borough after sunset?
He goes where none of his colleagues would dare to go, to inform the country.
Okay.
So you risk your life to reveal the truth. I saw many reporters do the same during the war.
Whitechapel is the crucible of so many untold stories and tragedies. I want people to know them.
That's quite honorable of you. But is the public interested?
Not at all, sir. And that's why I'm an independent journalist, hoping to sell some stories.
Hey, wir haben doch gerade was freigeschaltet. Ich dachte, das war bei dir.
Goodbye, Mr. Darby. Farewell.
Der Hinterdecker hier hat gesagt. Oh, oh, hier ist Level. 10. Ich habe nicht genug Blut für meine Fähigkeit. Das heißt, ich kann auch nicht heilen. Ah! Gut, einer weniger. Jetzt ist nur noch einer, okay. Gut. Gleich heilen wir noch mal, wie immer. Ist das ein Boss oder? Schwer zu sagen. Ja, dafür nimmt er zu viel Schaden. Puh. War kurzzeitig knapp. Quarantänezone. Mhm. Tja, dann gehen wir mal rein und schauen, ob er hinter der Kirche ist. Ja, da ist einer.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I would like to ask you a few questions.
Please be my guest. Although I may not be the best informant regarding this part of town, my words speak about that which the eyes cannot see.
Really? Are you an artist of some kind?
I'm a poet, sir. Richard Nethercott, at your service.
Ja, ich suche eine Freundin.
May I ask you a few questions about the district?
Extraordinary part of town, is it not? I'll be glad to help you, if I can.
Ja, fragen wir erstmal über deinen Familienangehörigen.
What can you tell me about an old man called Darius?
Darius Petrescu. Yes, I know him. At first, I thought he was only a small publisher. I invited him to publish my work, but his reaction was pretty clear.
Not interested in your talent?
Darius is an old political activist who takes delight in printing tracts and lampoons. Those communist activities only require mediocre writing skills.
Aha.
I'm looking for Dorothy Crane, a nurse who lives in this vicinity.
Dorothy Crane. Oh, I love the name. The Crane of Whitechapel. Sounds very mysterious. But, sorry, no, never heard of her.
May I ask what you're doing at this hour of night, sir? Do you live here?
Not at all. I'm just enjoying the pleasure of a quiet walk. Though night talks are always preferable, if you ask me. Especially with strangers.
Okay.
But are you not afraid of the epidemic?
Oh, why should I? I see some equity in the Spanish flu. No flesh should be saved, say the scriptures. Good or evil, rich or poor, all are equal in the eyes of the flu.
Du bist crazy.
If you say so. But as a physician in a time of epidemic, I must caution you to avoid unnecessary exposure, sir.
Thank you, Doctor. But we both know the seeker of truth has to go boldly where the weak dare not.
What are your thoughts on the terrible situation in this city?
Terrible, you say? No. Of course, the death of so many innocents is a tragedy. But the scourge has not been all bad for the city. Oh, no, sir.
What are you talking about?
Do you remember London before the flu? Noisy, cacophonic, quiet nowhere to be found. And now, listen to this oddly peaceful silence.
Wow.
Peaceful? That's quite an unusual way to speak about the epidemic. And very inappropriate, I must say.
Most people fail to understand my perspective. I don't blame them. But how could I call myself a poet if I veiled my feelings?
Ich finde den Typen
Are
lustig.
you aware that your life could be in danger in this part of town?
But this is where I must be to feel the real beat of the city. I had to come, see it for myself, alone.
If some misfortune came upon you, who would be here to help you?
Well, you for a start, my dear doctor.
I understand your need for solitude, but it's not safe around here.
I don't care. I don't have many friends, Doctor, and my family despises me.
Ja, du machst ja auch nichts außer rumstreuen. Ne?
Tell me, Mr. Nethercott, why seek inspiration in Whitechapel?
The place is not beautiful per se, but how to explain it? Stirring and challenging.
Do you not think it a little morbid?
On the contrary, sir, Whitechapel is full of life, full of beauty. Just like my dear muse, the wonderful Camellia.
What can you tell me about Camellia?
Not much, and that's the beauty of it. She can't speak, you know. She's a locked mystery who exhales kindness and sweetness.
Die Blumendame.
Perhaps you're just afraid to find out the truth about your muse.
One day, perhaps, I'll ask her to come with me. But will she still be my wild flower of Whitechapel if she moves uptown?
And have you ever tried to learn more about her? Where she lives? How she survives? Whom she may know?
Maybe I prefer she remains an enigma. Reality can be so dull, don't you think?
In what way, exactly?
The struggle by gaslight. The barren smiles and the arid hunger under the rain.
If you say so.
Such vibrant antagonism and vivid paradox. The stripped humanity raged across each street.
Vivid, of course, yes. And what about the poignant distress?
Oh yes, the poignant distress. You see what I mean, don't you? That's what I want to write about. And that's what Whitechapel is made of.
Oh je, oh je, oh je. Kann man dir... Wir haben doch gerade einen Hinweis bekommen, war aber nicht von dir.
I'll
Okay.
leave you alone, sir.
Okay. Dann kannst du wieder weiter dichten und wir können mit dem Hinweis hoffentlich auch schon... Was? Absagebrief eines Verlags. Absagebrief eines Verlags, sehr geehrter Mr. Nittergott. Vielen Dank für die Übersendung Ihres Gedichtbandes Lieder aus der besiegten Stadt, den wir interessiert und tiefgründig fanden. Wie wir Ihnen schon nach Erhalt der ersten Exemplares mitteilten, haben Sie angesichts der schrecklichen Zeiten, die unser Land durchlebt, bitte Verständnis dafür, dass es momentan völlig ausgeschlossen ist, ein Buch mit diesem Titel zu veröffentlichen. Da Sie sich noch immer weigern, den Titel zu ändern und Ihr Werk vollständig oder gar nicht publiziert sehen wollen, muss ich Ihnen leider mitteilen, dass sich Sycophant Publishing für letztere Option entschieden hat. Darauf können wir ihn doch bestimmt ansprechen.
Good evening, Mr. Nithercott.
And good evening to you too, my good sir. Can I be of any help?
You don't really make a living from your scribblings, do you, Richard?
No, sir, I don't. I work so hard. I put all my time, my energy, my devotion into the precise carving of words.
Ja, aber so arm guckst du nicht aus.
When she was younger, my mother was a painter and a poet. She told me many times how poor her artist friends were and how she helped them.
My parents pay for my rent, my food, and my clothes. All I have to give them in return is lies they do not believe.
You seem embarrassed.
Someday I hope to proudly offer my first publication to my parents. Until that day, I'll remain the failure of a son they have to support.
Okay.
I'll leave you alone, sir.
Da gibt's nichts mehr. Wie kommen wir hier wieder raus? Da ist eine Tür. Ist hier sonst noch was? Nein. Nein. So, der Hammer ist mir doch jetzt eigentlich genügend gesammelt haben. Eine Blume? Ein kleiner Blumenstrauß, ein Gutschein für eine kostenlose medizinische Untersuchung, ist zwischen den Blumen versteckt. Ach, das ist die Schweigsame.
Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reed. I'd like to ask you a few questions. I know what you're thinking. A tall stranger who meets a girl in the street at night. It reeks of the penny dreadfuls. But I mean you no harm, truly.
Ich kann nicht sprechen.
I know you understand what I'm saying. Your silence has nothing to do with you being mute, does it? Tell me about Richard Nithercott. I understand he is quite fond of you, Camellia.
Das ist eine sehr interessante Unterhaltung.
Camellia, I know you work for Dorothy Crane. Please tell me about her secret dispensary. A stubborn and mute comrade. Nurse Crane and Darius Petrescu have been clever.
Eine super Unterhaltung.
Very well. Goodbye then.
Naja, gut, war irgendwie zu erwarten. Da geht's, wo geht's denn da hin? Jetzt, ich wollte die doch gar nicht setzen. Ich will immer noch verstehen, wie ich die Karte drehen kann. Und bewegen. Das ist auch eine Blume. Oder war das die wir gerade... Ne, wir haben die da hinten verwendet. Ja, okay, ein kleiner Gutschein dazwischen. Mhm. Ist der gleiche, den wir schon kennen. Darius Petrescos Brief. Meine lieben Kinder, es tut mir so leid, dass ihr einige Monate lang nichts von mir gehört habt. Die Lage in London war schwierig. Ich weiß, es klingt vielleicht egoistisch und töricht, wenn ihr meine Kinder noch in einem Land lebt, das vom Krieg heimgesucht wird. Aber auch hier in England tobt ein Krieg gegen Armut und Ungerechtigkeit. Diesen Krieg will ich trotz meines fortgeschrittenen Alters führen. Deshalb schreibe ich euch heute. Ich werde nicht nach Rumänien zurückkehren. Das bedeutet, ich sehe euch wahrscheinlich nicht wieder, bevor ich sterbe. Seid nicht traurig, meine Lieben, ihr seid mittlerweile erwachsen und habt selbst Kinder. Ihr wisst, welche Opfer wir manchmal bringen müssen, um diese Welt zu einem besseren Ort zu machen. Und dieses muss ich nun bringen, damit ich mich noch ein letztes Mal nützlich fühlen kann. Ich wünsche euch ein langes und glückliches Leben. Gebt meinen Enkel einen Kuss und vergesst nicht, dass euer Vater euch auch weit ab der kalten Heimat liebt. Darius Petrescu. Ist das der
The content of
Priester?
Darius' letter to his children could give me more leverage to enter.
Ach, okay, nee.
Darius is a bit less of a mystery now. It should not be that difficult to incite him to let me in.
Der Darius.
I'm cheap and I'm clean.
Okay.
Imprisoned by your daily routine.
Wer bist du?
Unable to see.
Don't be shy, handsome. What can Christina do for you?
I'm not looking for what you're selling. But I'd like to ask you a few questions, if I may. I'm a doctor. Dr. Reed.
All right then, but be quick. Though I usually get paid when I open my mouth.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? Anything you can tell me about her would be helpful.
I don't know her, but I know her name is Dorothea Crăciunescu. She came from Romania like me and many others.
You seem to respect her.
Dorothea helps the sick people of Whitechapel. Everyone should respect that.
Christina, have you been examined? The epidemic is spreading fast in London, and you could be exposed, or expose others.
I don't like doctors or hospitals, but I don't like you asking questions.
Ja.
You can put your own life in danger, that's your decision. But what about your clients? If you're contaminated, you will put them in danger too.
And you think that would worry me? If you knew the men I deal with, their health would not be what you'd worry about.
Kann ich mir vorstellen.
Considering your line of work, I assure you it is only a matter of time before you have health issues.
If it is going to happen, it will happen. Right now, I need money. That's what's important.
Ja.
Clayton Darby claims he will expose the crisis in Whitechapel to all of London. Do you believe him?
I believe Clayton's courage will erode with time, until he finally leaves Whitechapel to start another fight somewhere else.
Why this skepticism?
How can you speak about starvation if you've never been hungry? Or about poverty? Or anything else you have never suffered from?
Are you talking from experience?
I've seen your type come here to get a good fuck in a cheap room or a dark alley before going back to their fancy houses in the West End.
Okay.
Tell me about yourself.
Are you joking with me? People don't usually come to see me for conversation.
I have no interest in your work. I am, however, curious as to what led you into this career.
Short story. The war, exile, and England. This country is not especially welcoming. I've been refused many jobs because of where I am from. I had few options left.
I always thought I was the master of my own fate. But now I know we don't always have control over our lives. I don't judge you.
You know, this money is not only for me. I have good reasons to need this money quickly, but it is not your concern, Doctor.
Okay, jetzt haben wir
Goodbye,
wirklich genug
Miss.
rausgefunden.
Take care of yourself as best you can.
Das ist der Schläger. Was ist das für eine Tür?
Hello, young man. I'm Dr. Reed, and I would like to ask you a few questions. May I enter, please?
Sorry, no, sir. My father does not like people entering our house, you see.
Your father is worried about you, boy. He asked me to look for you.
So my father actually worries about me then? Okay then. Come on in. I'm Harry, by the way.
Ah, okay, ich glaube, ich weiß, wer das ist.
Eyes are soaked with gloom.
So, may I ask you a few questions?
I'm not bothered. What could be worse?
Das ist, glaube ich, der Sohn von dem Typen, den Besoffenen, den wir ganz am Anfang getroffen haben.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
Yes, I know her. She came here to examine me when I was very sick. She said I should go out more.
How do you feel?
I'm fine. I mean, it's not easy every day, but I'm fine. I'm just tired of being sick all the time. If only I could be tough like... Well, you know.
Speaking of which, what can you tell me about your father?
My father is an idiot who makes idiot things. That's all I have to say.
Bist du krank, oder? Erschöpfung. Dagegen
Do
kann
you
man was
need any
machen.
medical help, young man?
Yes, I do. I feel so tired. I don't know if it's the epidemic, but everything seems so hard.
Yep, have
You'll feel
fun.
better with this. But you need to get a grip, young man. Medication alone won't cure melancholia.
I'm not sure I'm happy with the idea of living long in a world like this. But I thank you for your concern, sir.
Forgive my bluntness, young man, but you don't seem happy living in Whitechapel.
Why should I? I never wanted to come here in the first place. It was my father's decision. And look around you. Does this look like a nice place to live?
Hier, immerhin hast du ein Zuhause.
You have a roof over your head, a place to call home. Many people here are not as lucky, you know.
That's exactly what my father says. Harry, you should be grateful for what you've got. But I wasn't even consulted when we moved here.
If life here is so terrible for you, why don't you just leave this place? Have you ever spoken to your father about it?
I don't go outside. It terrifies me so. I went outside once without my father noticing and I saw terrible things. Bloody and frightening things.
So that's why you stay at home all day? For fear of the epidemic?
I'm not afraid of disease or death, Dr. Reed. It's the living I'm afraid of.
Hä?
Your father and Mr. Lewis used to be good friends. What happened, Harry?
I was young then. I don't remember Mr. Lewis ever coming back again after my mother died. Or was it after my father started bullying him? I don't know.
Have you tried speaking to Mr. Lewis about it?
I don't go out often, but yes. And he scolded me and told me to leave him alone. I guess my father frightens him too much.
But you are not responsible for your father's actions.
Am I not? Dad always says that he joined that gang for my safety. So if I wasn't born, people wouldn't be worrying about Colossus Joe.
Das ist der Sohn vom Kolossus.
Take care of yourself.
Okay. Übrigens nett, dass du einen Vampir ins Haus reinlassen hast.
Pain and suffering in this world.
Ja, wir glauben euch noch ein bisschen, wenn wir schon da sind.
It's locked, all right.
Ich schätze mal, dafür müssen wir böse Dinge tun, dass wir da reinkommen. Absagebrief. Sehr geehrter Mr. Patterson, es ist leider meine Pflicht, Sie darüber in Kenntnis zu setzen, dass wir Ihre Bewerbung für die Stelle in der Werft ablehnen müssen. Ich danke Ihnen dafür, dass Sie uns im Gespräch die Schwierigkeiten Ihrer Lage mit Ihrem kranken Sohn und Ihrer verstorbenen Gattin erläutert haben. Es ist jedoch ein ausdrücklicher Teil unserer Firmenpolitik, keine ehemaligen Verbrecher oder Häftlinge anzustellen. Ihre unseligen Verbindungen zu den berüchtigten Wetboot Boys wurden ordnungsgemäß berücksichtigt. Dies sind schwere Zeiten, Sir. Und Finch und Harper berücksichtigt zuerst jene Bewerber, die unsere flüchtigen Nachforschungen über unsere zukünftigen Mitarbeiter genügen. Sie haben ein tief empfundenes Mitgefühl. Möge Gott Ihnen und Ihrer Familie gnädig sein. Da haben wir auch wieder einen Hinweis. Sammelobjekt. Ich glaube, Sammelobjekte müssen wir mal durchgucken. Da haben wir schon ein paar mehr gefunden. Ich hatte eigentlich die Hoffnung, dass wir mal wieder eine Waffe finden. Wir haben schon lange keine Waffe mehr gefunden. Ich bin noch nicht ganz so happy mit den Waffen, die wir haben. Wo müssen wir hin? Da lang. So, jetzt nächster Versuch.
Mr. Petrescu, just 1 minute, please.
You again? Go away.
Ah, okay. Warnstufe 2 haben wir nicht.
Sir, wait. Stop this nonsense. I know Nurse Crane is here. Shall we speak man to man, you and I?
All right. Speak up.
Don't you see we're on the same side? We fight to help the poor, sick, and abandoned.
I'm nothing like you, Mr. Doctor.
Yes, you are. You too believe in providing medical care without charge. You know what we have to sacrifice to make the world a better place.
I have to admit your words have conviction. All right, I'll let you see, Dorothea. Don't make me regret this, though.
Wir sind drinnen. Yay. Kann man hier noch irgendwas mitgehen lassen?
It's locked.
Frozen. Nochmal ein Sammelobjekt. Die Stürze, da bin ich hier mal ein bisschen. Oh, große Pillendose haben wir gefunden. Ein lila Objekt, das ist mein erstes lila Objekt in dem Spiel. Juhu! Sollst du dem erstmal mit dir.
If you want to talk to Dorothea, you must go across the courtyard and take the stairs.
We've not been formally introduced. May I ask your name and occupation, sir?
I am Darius Petrescu. I'm here to keep snitches and spies away from Dorothea. And I also run this little print shop.
So Dorothy's real name is not Crane?
Like myself and many people in this area, Dorothea is from occupied Romania. That's all you need to know.
She seems important to the community.
More than you can imagine. The West End does not want to hear of Whitechapel's misery. Dorothea is one of the few doing something about it.
Wir haben genügend Hinweise von dir.
Did you refuse to publish Richard Nethercott's previous works, Darius?
Yes, his manuscript is as pompous as he is starched. Now there's a man who loves the sound of his own voice.
You could have told him so.
As a great writer recently said, politeness is the most acceptable hypocrisy.
Okay.
Tell me everything you know about Camellia, the mute florist.
I do not believe in the afterlife, Doctor, but I'm almost convinced Camellia is an angel. She volunteered to give out our medical leaflets.
Aber wer ist sie wirklich?
Who is she, really? Do you know where she's from?
She's not from around here, that's all we know. Camellia is not even her name. It's her favorite flower.
You say she has no close family.
Well, there's that awful poet who constantly follows her around like a lost puppy. A good man for sure, but a very poor writer.
Are you not worried for her safety?
She is as brave as she is tough, and clever too. If only I had met her when I was younger.
Are you in love with Camellia, Mr. Petrescu?
Don't be stupid. If I had met her when I was younger, we could have won our revolution.
Die haben wir doch gerade gehabt.
Tell me everything you know about Camellia, the mute florist.
I do not believe in the afterlife, Doctor, but I'm almost convinced Camellia is an angel. She volunteered to give out our medical leaflets.
Ja, haben wir doch schon gehabt.
Do you have any family left, Mr. Petrescu? Children or grandchildren?
Who knows? I have abandoned my people for so long, they might as well be dead. As dead as I am for them, I suppose.
Don't be embarrassed, sir. If you must know, my own father disappeared many years ago, and I forgave him.
It's quite awkward to talk about our families like this, but thank you, Dr. Reed. I appreciate your trust.
Ich will dich das noch aussaugen.
This war won't last forever. Did you ever think of returning to your country now it's free?
No. I have taught strength and determination to my sons and daughters. I'm an old, dying man who only has memories of better times to cherish.
I know you fought for your country when it was occupied, Darius. Tell me more about it.
I know my days are numbered, and I know I won't see my homeland again. But I fought for Romania all my life, and I will until my last breath.
But Romania escaped the grasp of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. It's a free country again.
But it's not the country I fought for. My homeland is not appeased, Doctor. And I still see a dark future ahead for my people.
How did you meet Nurse Crane, Darius? Why does she trust you?
I'm her oldest friend in England. Dorothea and I share many ideas about this country and about the country we left.
You mean occupied Romania, don't you? Even if not directly, I fought against your enemies.
Really? Then perhaps you have more in common with Dorothea than meets the eye, Dr. Reed.
Okay, genug geschwafelt.
Goodbye, Mr. Petrescu.
Ab geht's zu Dorothea. Erstmal hier noch gucken. Also, ich sperre mal auf, ja. Dann können wir hier nicht rein und rausgehen. Das gleiche. So, jetzt bin ich gespannt. Bedenklich ist der Status des Bezirks. Wow. Können wir nicht so ein bisschen was mitnehmen. Ein bisschen schlechtes Gewissen könnte man schon haben, wenn man hier, wo sie eh alle Medikamente umsonst rausgibt und umsonst hilft, auch noch beklauen, aber hey, wir können alles brauchen.
I need help. He's going into convulsion.
What do we have here, nurse?
Patient Razvan Vasily. High fever running on 3 days. Complaints of dizziness, muscle aches, and head pain. Diagnosed with influenza.
Treatment?
Aspirin and salicin for the fever and discomfort. Liquids for dehydration, but he's having trouble keeping even water down.
Thank you, nurse. Anything else I should know?
He did lose consciousness this morning, but he's never had convulsions like these.
He's not convulsing, he's choking. He's not getting any air. Scalpel! Hand me that scalpel!
What can I do, Doctor?
It's too dangerous to operate with these convulsions. Sedative, nurse. Do we have any anesthetics?
I'm sorry, Doctor. None at all.
Okay, dann auf geht's.
I need to perform a tracheostomy. Short pipe. That rubber tube will do. We're going to cut a passage for air through the neck.
Yes, Doctor. He's breathing again, but he's coughing up blood.
Internal hemorrhaging. I need to make another incision into the chest cavity to drain the fluids from the lung. Prepare another tube.
A thoracostomy? Doctor, we've nothing to fight the infection. We need an aseptic environment.
Don't question me, nurse. I need a drain. Now.
Yes, Doctor.
Und jetzt saugen wir ihn aus.
He's still bleeding, Doctor. I'm losing his pulse.
The drain must have punctured the intercostal artery. There's too much blood.
Are you all right, Doctor?
I can't see. I must first suture the artery. Find the wound. The source of the blood.
Needle and thread, Doctor.
Good. The stitches are holding. How's he doing?
We're losing him. We've lost his pulse. He's dying, Doctor.
A dose of epinephrine, now.
Yes, Doctor.
Ne, Doktor.
We've lost the pulse. He's gone, Doctor.
Nurse, we did everything we could.
Truly? Everything you could. Is that how you'll report this in your log? Is this how the war went? Piling up one poor corpse beside the next?
This was not an influenza-induced seizure. I've never seen symptoms like these on the continent.
Neither have I. But the previous symptoms leading up to this attack were the same, indistinguishable from the epidemic.
No. There was something more vile in these reactions. Something primitive.
There have been numerous reports of mental breakdowns caused by the fever that accompanies the flu itself, Doctor.
Yes, but... I'd best take some samples of the blood for analysis.
I doubt you're here to test my bedside manners.
Boah, eine taffe Szene zum Ende unserer heutigen
To what
Session.
do I owe this courtesy?
Wie wir sie zur Rede stellen und klären, was hier eigentlich vor
This
sich
is an
geht,
unfitting place for the illustrious Dr. Reed.
machen
He
wir in
shouldn't
der
be here.
nächsten Runde. Danke fürs Zuschauen. Servus.